What's up, my 2A family? All right, today we're going to go over the LWRC IC Discovery. So I had mentioned it in a previous short. I picked it up in a local store for fairly cheap, actually. I got it on a really good deal, and that's why I picked up this specific model. I was actually looking at the piston-driven model with the full ambi lower, but I mean, I couldn't pass the deal up on this one, so I just went ahead and, like I said, got this one and pretty much am converting it into a full ambi lower with the forward controls, ambidextrous mag release, the extended bolt catch, and then I already ordered a Radian Talon safety selector, and then there's a Radian Raptor ambidextrous charging handle in there right now that I actually might change out. I might switch that to the BCM Mark II just to help mitigate the gas a little bit when it's suppressed. But this model compared to the $1,800 to $1,900 model, the fully ambi, there's obviously that difference, but the performance and materials and quality of the parts are the same as the other model, and it's just not, again, an ambi lower, but it still has the monoforged one-piece upper with their free float rail. It's Nicor treated, DI gas block and gas tube are all Nicor treated. It has the 16-inch cold hammer forged spiral fluted barrel with the A2 flash hider. But I mean, this thing in a whole package is pretty short. Like, it's a 16-inch rifle. And if you were to compare it to, say, like my wife's 11.5-inch AR build, I mean, it is like, what, 3.5, 4 inches longer? Just absurd. So, but a few of the parts I'm going to change out, like I had already mentioned. I'll probably end up changing this stock, even though I do really like this stock. It has some rattle to it, which I could fix that, but it does have a little bit of rattle to it. But the stock itself is actually really nice and compact. This is the one with the modular rail, so if you want to put any attachments on it, you have to go directly through LWRC, which it's not a big deal. I mean, they make really good parts, so it's not a game changer for me, but I do like it. I will change the grip. The trigger is actually not bad in this thing for being stock. I'd say it's comparable to like the LaRue MBT, if you guys have used those. I know I've made a video on triggers, and there seem to be quite a few people that have used those. And I mean, I think it's probably on par with that one. And this optic is obviously not staying on here. I just threw it on there to shoot it, because I actually don't have an optic for this one yet. I took this off of one of my other rifles for now. So if you guys have any recommendations for optics on what you think I should run on the 16-inch, let me know. I don't think I'll go LPVO, only because, like I said, this thing is like super short for being a 16-inch, which is cool because I'll still get the ballistics of a 16-inch, but minus, you know, the length and the weight. But I'm gonna change the buffer and the buffer tube and spring to it's a Griffin Armament A2 mounting kit. And I'm like I said, I'm waiting for some more parts here, but this is the Griffin Armament that I had just got in yesterday. So it's just like the Voltor system, but I actually like this one better. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. So yeah, there's the buffer, obviously castle nuts, pretty much just mil spec, and QD plate, their little logo on it. But yeah, that's their buffer. It's pretty sweet looking, but I do like these. I actually, like I said, like these better than the Voltor. And these come around like, I want to say like 5.5 ounces, so they're fairly heavy. But when I shot this thing, it actually shot pretty dang smooth. And obviously, I mean, it's a 5.56. It doesn't have a bunch of recoil, but you can soften them up still, especially when you suppress them. And that's the whole reason I'm putting this buffer in here. But yeah, it just came with the rifle length spring. And I'll probably throw this in today and test it out, but I am not going to stick with this spring. I really like the Geisley Super 42, the braided springs. So I'll get that in a rifle length version and throw that in here with this and just keep this in my range box for backup, just in case tuning or whatever. That's another thing to consider, guys. If you guys are going to the range quite a bit, you know, take some extra buffer springs and buffers so you can, or, you know, if something even happens, or if your buddy just got a new suppressor and he needs help tuning, or, you know, whatever, vice versa. So I got that, but then I also got, like I said, I got some parts from LWRC so I could put some attachments on this thing. But this is their bottom section of their rail. It's just a Picatinny. And that just mounts here. Well, you could put it on, you know, either 3 sides, but that's where I'm going to put it. And then I just got their grip and panels, but I'm not going to use the little hand stop. I actually had already ordered like a stubby vertical grip, and I'll do a review on that when I get it. But I mean, these are nice, but I just like the aesthetics of the vertical on longer rifles, even though this one is, again, not really that long. And I run C clamp grip, so it's not like I'm gonna hold the vertical grip like that, you know. It's kind of goofy out for the Sling. So yeah, I got that. And like I said, I already did a few things to it. Not much, but like I said, I already did the forward controls, ambi-mag release, an extended bolt catch, and then the Radian Raptor, which, like I said, I'm probably gonna switch that out and run the BCM Mark II, or just maybe even do the Geisley Super Duty charging handle. And I'm not too sure yet. They both work pretty well for gas. And I'm not crapping on the Raptors. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of my builds. They all have those. But when you do run suppressed, I feel like the BCM Mark II charging handle and the Geisley supercharging handle, I feel like they help kind of mitigate the gas and push them left or right away from the shooter, so you're not getting a mouthful of gas or, you know, watery eyes. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this on here now. I mean, you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but throw it on there so you guys can see. And it right now it just has the stock H2 buffer in it with the carbine buffer tube. So like I said, it's nothing against LWRC, but I just prefer the, like I said, the Voltor A5 systems or the Griffin. And now finding the Griffin, I like the Griffin more after using it. So, and I know, honestly, sometimes it's like when you build these things, you save money, obviously, building them, and that's a whole subject for itself. But, you know, building versus buying complete, there's definitely rifles out there. Like I said, I got a good deal on this, so it was worth it, even if I am upgrading parts on it. But if you're not spending, you know, a crap ton to upgrade something, if you don't have to, you know, it's probably better off to build it. I think building is optimal, especially with how these are like adult Legos, and you could just throw all kinds of parts on them, and they're pretty much all mil-spec. I mean, you will run into some problems with some companies where you have tolerance issues, but for the most part, they're pretty simple. And another thing I'll show you guys is what I upgrade on these, on the buffers. And I get it from forward controls, and I'll show you guys once I pull this off. But just make sure you guys hold these springs down when you take them out. Here, I could do this part on camera, actually, since I already broke it loose. So yeah, and like I said, this was staked, so yeah, this was staked. It was only staked in one spot, and that's there's nothing wrong with that. I do 2 personally, and some people do 3, so it's whatever you prefer. But yeah, just watch your springs. So your buffer retainer pin and spring are in here, so you got to just push that down, and then you have your spring back here for your detent for your takedown pin. So you just drop that guy out, and then there goes the pin, buffer retaining pin and spring. Let me just drop this. We're not going to use this one anymore, but I will show you guys what I'm talking about. So Ford Controls makes these upgraded versions of these, and they're made out of a stronger steel. If I can get it out. Yeah, I always carry a bunch of spare parts containers, but yeah, these guys, so I'll buy these by the dozen. These things are awesome. But it's supposed to be just like a harder steel, so this doesn't shear off under severe use. But so I usually will change that out and the spring, but this is an LWR spring and I trust it, so I'm just going to run that one again. Just drop that guy back in for now. And in with the old, or I guess out with the new and in with the new. But all right, and then for the Griffin armament, anytime you put these on, obviously put on your castle nut. Not saying you guys don't know, but for the people that don't know. And then for this one, the emblem's going to face out, so just like that. You have a groove in here where it's going to sit on the QD plate for reference. Almost shot it out. For you capture your buffer pin right there, and then you don't have to put your spring in yet. And you kind of just back it off enough to expose your hole for your spring for that detent. And you just pop that guy in there. Run it back because I can't do another rotation on that because I'm all the way up against the buffer retaining pin. And then just push this in. Make sure it's not bent or like tweaked or anything and it's flush. And then just go ahead and torque down your castle nut and you're good to go. Now sometimes when I do put this together, I'll do like a grease, but I haven't been lately because I haven't noticed a difference, but I'll use this like Milcom. It's the TW25B Milcom. I use that for a lot of parts when I'm building ARs. But yeah, that's captured. So now I'll throw that on here. And for those of you that don't know, the castle nut spec is usually in between 38 and 42 foot-pounds. Once you do it enough, you kind of get a feel for it. Before you guys torque this down, if you look down this, basically I'll just call it the spine of the buffer tube, where your stock mounts in these holes for your adjustments. If you look down that and you line it up with the QD plate and the grip and the spine of the grip, that's where you want to have it. Obviously you don't want it to be canted because when you torque these, it will spin. So again, just line up that spine and then torque it down. All right, now I'm going to stake these down and I'm going to do 2. All right, that's what it looks like. Toss this Picatinny rail on the bottom. I'm just gonna drop this optic. I don't care if it loses 0, because like I said, this is not staying on here. It wasn't actually even ever zeroed on here. I just threw it on here. And it was only like a 1/2 inch off. one from another rifle. So that's pretty much how it will sit on there on the bottom portion of the handguard. And it comes with all the mounting screws and the Torx Allen, but I have my own. And I am going to put Loctite on all these. I had already cleaned all the threads on these, and normally I'd wipe down the threads on these, but these don't look all full of oil and grease, so I'm just gonna shoot for it. And I usually use Loctite and the 242. And for these Torx, it's a T20. Like I said, torque spec on these are 15 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. All right, there's one in. I'll probably cut this part out, guys, until I torque it, just to save you guys some time so you don't have to watch me doing this boring stuff. All right, guys, got them all in there. So they were even nice enough to send me an extra screw just in case. You never know. All right, and then like I said, so 15 inch-pounds. So there's 15. So go ahead and do 15 inch-pounds. All right, that one's in. So now it's ready to mount anything Picatinny on the bottom. And like I said, I'm just running a vert grip down there when I get it. Okay. And now I got these. These things are hefty, man. I mean, I know it's just like a little heat deflector or something to give you a little bit of purchase or grip. But yeah, these things are nice. So I think, let me see whereabouts I want these. Get a feel for this thing. Okay. And to find out where I wanted those. Same thing, guys. Same thing. So 15 inch-pounds. I'm just gonna throw these in, and like I said, I'll torque them back on camera again, so you guys don't have to watch the boring stuff of me spilling Loctite everywhere. All right, got all those ones in. Now, same thing, just torque them down, 15 inch-pounds. I don't know why I always go 2 clicks, but whatever. It's just a habit. All right, and then now I'll put these back in the bag so I don't lose them. I might even cut this one because you can't, like, you know, they're obviously molded together in the making. So I might actually just get a Dremel and zip that and put one like back here and on the other side, and or right here and back here. I don't know yet. Like I said, I have a light coming for my Cloud Defensive mount, or I have a mount coming for my Cloud Defensive, and it's specific for the LWRC modular rail, and I believe that one is the offset, so it'll basically tuck it in into the rail here more. But yeah, I don't know what I'll do with this one. I'll probably end up cutting it and putting it somewhere. I'm sure you guys will see it in another video or something. Last one. I'm just gonna throw this cutie on. I think I'm gonna put it here actually. I normally run them up here, but I don't know, I've been liking them back here. I don't know, what are your guys' opinions? How do you normally run your slings? I like them both ways, I guess. Or different purposes. I guess for, you know, like a pistol AR, I typically will run them up front because they're shorter. So like anything probably below like a 13.7, 13.8, 13.9, whatever size. A bunch of weird sizes out there now. Come on. Spit some on there. Wipe off the excess. All right, that's that. Yeah, like I said, guys, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about the rifle in general. What optic you think I should run on it. Like I said, I don't think I'll do an LPVO on this one because I feel like it's shorter. So I don't know. I don't think I'll do a LPVO and an offset, but we shall see. Like I said, drop some comments, give me some feedback, tell me what you think. All right, guys, stay safe.